Good afternoon. You already know about calculation units. You know that for a simple table, the calculation unit is row in the rows part. And if we make changes to one of the fields in the rows part, then all the fields in that rows part that have codes will be recalculated. There is a table. There are different vegetables listed here. And here is the total from another table. Let's take a look at this. We take a select list from the recalculate table. I'll show it to you next. From field 2, where field 1 equals id. Here in the current table, we're counting from this list the sum. Let's look at what we have in the recalculate table. There is field 1, by which we take a comparison with the id. Here select, without any additional parameters by id. Base field is not specified. If you don't know what a base field is, go to the relational relationship section again, to the section about selects, and take a tutorial. Going back, field 2 specifies a quantity. We can add a row we add, for example, carrot with a quantity of 15. Save. It's a simple table, and this is a simple table. Let me open them in different tabs. I'll close this one. Here's the recalculate table, and here's the table with the sums. And if we recalculate all of this now, we can see that one of the values, for carrots, has changed. But until we did the recalculate, the values didn't change. If we change the title in the catot row, the value in the field 2 would recalculate, because that would be a change in the calculation unit. But when we just add carrot here, nothing happens. Once again, let's carrot 10, save, and the change occurred in this table. And here we have no recalculation. There are codes that take data from here. And we need to recalculate the row in the dependent table at the time of adding a row and at the time of changing this field. Like this, as well as when deleting. How do we do that? To do this, we use the action code and use the recalculate function. Let's write it for now for the general case. We say recalculate the table. Select for recalc and where it is field 1. Where we specify that it is a carrot or potato or whatever. We specify execute on adding, on changing, as well as on deleting. It's okay. Now look, add it again and look here. Let's recalculate here, so that we have fresh data. Recalculate. The number is 51. Okay, select carrot, put 10. Save. And look here. Here we see a notification that there was a change. We update, and here it is updated. So we've triggered a recalculation in this table. Remember, we had 3 triggers on adding, changing, and deleting. We checked the adding. Let's try a change. Now I have changed the field. We have the same thing happen. Update. Here it's become 71. Now we delete that, and we should supposedly have 51. We look, and nothing happened. The thing is that in this code, recalculate binds in the where parameter to the value in field 1, but at the moment of deleting field 1 is empty. It turns out that we are not recalculating anything, because if where is compared with an empty, or where is not specified at all, only the header will be recalculated in a simple table. If you want to recalculate all rows in a simple table, you must put where id not equals 0, because there is no id that equals 0, and all rows in the simple table satisfied this condition. If you want to recalculate a calculation table, you don't need where at all, because you just write what you want to recalculate, and if it's a calculation table, it's always recalculated as a whole. And this also applies to temporary tables. And you don't need to specify any where at all. Okay, let's go back to our example. Here we had where id equals field 1, and we remember that this worked for add and for change. And we can say, here a1 that would be the general case. But for deletion we still need to take the id that was before deletion. And we'll do that here. Here's how we'll do the delete section delete 1, and we'll take the same code here. Totem has the option to refer to the old values that were there before the change. This is done like this, old.field1. Let's put an equal here, otherwise it won't work. And if we refer via the sharp, it is old.field1. If we use quick variables to address the current field, it is now field value and address the previous value of the current field, old now field value. Let's remove. That was just an example. These will always be executed on any trigger, they work for adding and changing. This one, on the other hand, will only run on the delete trigger. We are addressing a different value here. Let's try again. Caret. Value 10. Save. Let's see what has changed. 61. And now delete. Delete, delete, and now this works too. And here it is. 51. The recalculate function has another important feature, the field parameter. The thing is, in order to optimize the solution, the parameter execute code only when adding can be turned on. In this case, if we recalculate, here I press recalculate, no calculation happens, because the code was executed only on addition. Now these rows are already added, and it doesn't calculate when there s changes in the rows or when we recalculate these rows. But we need that when we change, add, delete here, this row is recalculated and the value is updated. Let me demonstrate that this won't work now. We say caret 10, we save, we look. Here recalculate the row happened, but here the code is only when adding and the value is not updated. If we now recalculate again manually, nothing happens. I remove it. To make the code work under the current conditions, we need to add one more parameter to the recalculate. We have to specify in the field parameter those fields with code only when added that need to be recalculated. For example, field sum, and here field sum too. Okay, let's try it. Now add caret 10, save, and look here. There has been an update. Now it is 61. Now if I recalculate through recalculate, there will be no recalculation in this field. But when we access from the code, the value is updated. Now another important feature of the function recalculate is a special function that can be executed from the value calculation code, even though it is an action function. For example, the following story. We temporarily disable the code here. We remove all the triggers from here, and this code is now not executed. We add one more field, let's call it field 3. Let it be a number, and we want the code when adding it to take the value from this table. Or rather not select list, just select. From select for recalc, we want to take the sum where id equals field 1. Order is not needed. Save it. So we will write here the value of the sum from the select for recalc table at the time we add a row. Let's try. For example, we say caret 10, and here it pulls up 61. Then we add caret, but because we disabled the action code here again 61, although there should be already 71. That is, we want the code here to go to the select for recalc table first, forcefully update data in the required field and then takes the value. We can do this using function recalculate. Here it will be select. And we also need to do recalculate. Here we do recalculate table. Select for recalc where id equals field 1n. Now we have to do recalculate first, and then we have to take the select. We use the while function. It also can be executed in code. Preaction is not needed, action is needed, post-action is not needed, iterator is not needed. We take one more action. In the second action we write select. When the while function runs, it takes the value of the last action as a result of its work or the last preaction or post-action. There is some final value that comes as a result of the while function and goes into this field. And this is where we write recalculate. So that's how we do it. We add a row. We select the caret, and it's still 61. I made a mistake in the code. The sum field has also code only on adding. In previous codes we added field parameter to recalculate function, which means to force recalculate field when requesting recalculate, sum. OK. We check again one more time. Open, load caret and see already 81. And you have seen a slight delay, which said that this field went there, recalculated there the row and only after that got the data. We entered 10. Press save. And there is no recalculation anymore, because the value was calculated exactly in the adding row. And this 10 is no longer there. This is probably the most complicated feature, recalculate, and you should use it with caution, because if you call recalculate of the same table, it will go into a loop. Practice and then move on to the next video.